ma'am. Stay in your assigned seat.
Me when one of my titties starts slipping out of my bra.
Every
Get in
time.
line.
Okay. Alright, we all seem to be equalized, which is great.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes, buddies. Okay, and I have the questions pulled up. Are you just now looking at them, Brooks? I can see you in the doc.
No, I always pull them up.
No, I know. I just know that you have, like, a real job.
Oh, I mean, I saw the screenshot that you sent earlier, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm going off.
I like looking at them beforehand, and then just like an hour before, I look at it once an hour before, and then I let my brain just forget, so it's still fresh.
I love that for you. I
Yeah,
think that's a good way to do things.
I always look, like, in advance, but I never actually think about it until, like, the moment of.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll work.
It's more fun that way.
I'm glad I'm not underprepared, because I kind of found...
Preparation here is a very strong word.
Well, I was looking at the Discord a minute ago, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I like looked up this thing and that thing, and I'm like, we did what?
No, this is the most active the Discord has ever been. This was shocking. Well, just because, like... Yeah, I don't know.
Over the course of, I don't know, the last dozen or so podcasts, I've gradually realized that I'm starting to, like, look up definitions for more and more words. And now I've started doing it in advance. Like, I've got definitions of a couple of key words that I feel like need to be introduced to one of our discussions today. Normally I do it long.
Thank you. Queen shit.
I did skim the Wikipedia article on cults.
Beautiful. That's all we need.
Perfect.
That's a giant water bottle. I love how obnoxiously huge that is.
If it's
Look
a whole
at you,
gallon.
being so healthy, can never be.
I love that. I have a 32-ounce Hydro Flask, which is quite nice. It does, like, as much as, like, you know, Visco Girl, Hydro Flask, whatever, it does keep my water very chilly.
Yeah. Give me 30 seconds.
Yes, of course.
I could go for a nice glass of chili water.
Do you not have one? Would you like a moment to go get one?
I'm laughing at your use of the word chili rather than cold.
Shut up.
I love some iced chili water.
I like my water frigid.
Have any of you listened to the podcast Wine and Crime?
No, but that sounds like something I'd love.
Yeah.
It is a true crime podcast with these three best friends from Minnesota, and they have a topic for the evening that's like a theme of or a classification of crimes, like arson or you know, PTA murders or something like that, and they do a wine pairing with it, and then each girl gets a bottle of that wine, and they all researched a case to like tell about, and they slowly like progress through their bottles of wine as they each contribute what they learned about the topic. So by the third girl, they're all a bottle of wine in, and it gets really silly, and it's amazing.
This sounds so much fun. Oh my god. I'm either gonna reach out to them or steal that idea. We'll see, but anyway, since the vibe seems to be absolutely wonderful, I'm gonna say we should start and, you know, make sure the people can see all of this awesomeness that's happening. We are here. Emily's back. Zach is on the road, but in his place, he has provided us his lovely friend Kat, who is appearing on the podcast for the first time. So exciting. And today was probably the most active I have ever seen our, like, Discord chat that we plan things in. So I'm just, like, I'm really excited to see what this kind of energy results in. So I have my setup a little different. Looking at the document on my phone, which isn't that weird, but I'm giving, like, full screen privileges to my OBS to the screen recorder, because I'm like, I need to keep track of things. Maybe I need a third monitor. Oh well. Okay. So the first thing I have is to discuss this tweet, which is by at Jill Twiss on Twitter. And she says, I would love to read a feature on all the contact tracers who are discovering people having affairs. And I'm just... when I saw this, I was like, this has to have happened by now, right?
I think it has, but how does the contact tracer know?
Well, because it might be that when they're saying all the people they've had contact with, they might say like, oh, my wife, but also this woman.
Yeah.
And it might seem a little like...
a little sus.
Yeah, like, I imagine the way they say it would be a little bit shifty, but also if they're trying to limit their contact with people and those are the only two people they have contact with.
Yeah, my wife and this other woman.
Yeah, and I wonder if they ask them what their relationship is to the person, too. Because I imagine they would.
I imagine it matters because, like, if a guy's like, oh yeah, my wife, I'm around all the time, and then there's this other woman who I'm around Sundays at 8 p.m. only.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Or just like, well, because I'm assuming they'd have to be like, oh yeah, like, who are you in contact with on a regular or semi-regular basis? Well, there's these people that I live with, and there's also, you know, this person I see it, like, not in, like, an affair way, but, like, my buddy that I go on, you know, that I play basketball with on the weekend or whatever, like, a slightly less regular, so, like, pinpointing, like, the time that they might have been exposed. Do they have to tell the person that they only see on weekends?
I feel like this would be such a more of an early COVID thing back when we were like, this person caught COVID and they went to the grocery store on Saturday morning. So anybody who went to that grocery store, by now, everybody's had COVID and is just like, yeah, I was at the grocery store masked, but I always do that. Like, I'm trying to remember, I did catch COVID in early September, and I feel like the contact tracers weren't all that specific with me. Like, my work was really like, when were you in the office? Who did you have meetings with? What did you do? But when the state called me, it was just like, so you're supposed to isolate. Okay, please do that. Okay, we'll call you tomorrow.
That's wild.
I know, but like, there's just
as a person who is employed by the state, all the jokes about, like, state workers not doing anything, I get them. I really do.
Well, I can just imagine, because by the time I was completely symptom-free after, like, a week, and they were still calling me, like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I told you 4 days ago and every day since, I'm perfectly fine, thank you. I feel bad for them, because obviously they have to, but they're probably just day after day, hour after hour, people, like, sick of hearing from them, you know?
Yeah, no, I can feel that being... But yeah, I feel like this, like, just... It has to have happened at least once by now, you know?
You wouldn't say, oh, I was with this other woman, we were alone. You'd be like, oh, yeah, there was that really attractive woman who delivered my pizza and stayed around for a little while, you know? Like, cover it up.
Although, like they were doing in those early days where they would ask where you were going, like the grocery store, what if it's like, oh, you're sick, so who are you around and where were you around them? Oh, this lady at this hotel. Like...
Yeah, no. The more, the more people are, like, bringing up people's points, the more I'm, like, absolutely certain that this has occurred at some point.
Yeah, you could try to cover it up and say, oh yeah, I met, this random woman, it wasn't anything. And then we also met the lady at the front desk of the hotel, the guy who brought our bags up.
Yeah, this just... If this has happened to anyone, if anyone who's listening to this podcast is a contact tracer, please tell me if this has happened. I need to know.
When you started saying that, I thought you meant the people in the affairs.
I mean, or you too.
Or people in the affairs.
I'm like, I don't think they're going to admit that. Oh, the contract.
Confess to your affair live on this podcast.
And contact tracers. It doesn't violate HIPAA as long as you don't tell us who it was. You can just say, oh yeah, this definitely happened, and here's the details. As long as you don't give me a name.
Yeah.
As long as there's no personally identifiable information.
Yeah,
yeah.
Perfectly legal.
Fine.
John Doe in Strangetown, you know? Strangetown, Virginia, whatever.
That's all we need. That is all we need.
I love that.
Actually, I want to look in the replies and see.
Oh yeah, let's go through those.
David J. Lore on Twitter. Now there's a pandemic movie that might be worth the trouble.
Yeah. But, like, can you imagine all of a sudden, like, you're at home and your husband's like, hey, by the way, you and I need to isolate. And you're like, oh, you know, where were you? Like, did it happen at work? And he's like, oh, yeah. But then, like, you're like, oh, but how come your coworker doesn't have to isolate? How come this? Like, and you finally figure out that, like, it was from the affair.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, ah.
Oh no, somebody says, at Jill Jensen says, as a contact tracing lead, I'm more concerned with the people we call who are at Disneyland.
No.
People stop. Just stop.
Oh no.
This one homebrewing RPH. Early in pandemic, my hospital couldn't figure out how 3 people were positive. Turns out MD was sleeping with both RNs.
Oh my God.
Dear.
Do you think that they knew?
I don't know.
Like, can you imagine, like, you're Becky at the hospital, just living your life, and you're, like, sleeping with the doctor on the DL, and all of a sudden you find out that you and one other nurse need to isolate, but just the 2 of you, and you're like, oh, I know why I have to, but wait!
Twitter
Someone
user Helena is freezing. I discovered 2 while I was contact tracing. The wildest one was where one cheater was being cheated on by his girlfriend, who was the initial contact case. This is so messy. I love it. The other one, the cheater was quarantined in a camper parked in his parents' yard, and they would not let him come into the house at all. His dad only let him hook up to the electricity for a couple hours each day because he was worried about the bill. Serves him right.
Oh my Lanta. I like this reply. At Wessie Hale says, or how many people will find out that they're in a second marriage or family situation because daddy got stuck with wife 1 in Cleveland and can't make it home.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Wow, these are rough.
Imagine when that initial, like, nobody leave your house order came out while you were at your mistress's house.
Oh my God.
Whoops.
How many people that was, like, the morning after a one-night stand?
I need that romantic comedy where they
I'm
wake
pretty
up
sure that exists, but it's like a snowstorm. Like,
yeah,
they get
like,
snowed in.
I've read enough fan fictions. Just make it happen.
Cheers. Absolutely,
How many
yes.
COVID enemies to friends to lovers fanfics do you think there's going to be? Like, oh, I got stuck in quarantine with my roommate and we hate each other, and then, you know, by the end of it...
There already have to be so many. Oh, fanfiction community, how I love you.
And how many of them do you think one of the major plot points was? But there's only one bed!
So many. So many.
That one time on the band trip when we got quarantined in the hotel room.
No!
These replies are fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess we have answered that question. It definitely has happened.
Absolutely it has, multiple times.
But also, again, if any contact tracers, or you know what, if any people who were caught in their affairs via contact tracer still want to email us or tweet at us and tell us a story, we'd love that.
If you want to DM us and anonymously admit to your crimes, feel free.
We'd love that.
I can keep the secret.
This feels like one of those, like, early 2000s MTV shows.
It does.
Like,
really
contact
does.
tracing the cheaters around.
Oh my gosh. Like Catfish, but where, like, the wife calls and she's like, my husband said that he randomly had to go on a work trip for a week, but we're all supposed to be isolating. Like, where is he? So then they go on this big search and find him with family number 2. Like,
oh my God. I don't even, don't think I've ever even watched a full episode of Catfish, but, like, my favorite thing to come out of that show was the, like, screen cap set of that guy, where he's like, and I thought this was not real at first because it was so ridiculous. It was like, obviously I'm not gay. You're in a romantic relationship with a man. You got me there. Like, I thought that was not real.
My favorite moment to happen on Catfish ever was when this girl catfished her cousin because
Shouldn't
her cousin called her a
fat
fat
ass
ass
Kelly Price.
I haven't heard of any of these, and now I feel like I've been missing out.
Yeah, I think I need to do a deep dive into Catfish. I think that'd be fun.
I think it's on Hulu.
Beautiful.
Watch party. Forget the rest of the agenda. Let's go.
Catfish. Oh, there we go. That's a stream idea. Catfish watch party.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do that some weekend. It'll be great. Okay. I keep forgetting that I have to, like, go back into the Docs app. Alright. So, taking a bit of a turn, but also slightly topical, because we're supposed to get some snow real soon. Which is worse? Driving in a bad snowstorm or a bad rainstorm?
I feel like it's gotta be the snowstorm, because the rain doesn't really affect how you drive as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with the snow, I'm, like, pumping the brakes, I'm, like, scared to turn too hard. I drive a Prius, so the back of it will just do, like, absolutely nothing, and my front tires will be spinning out. It's the most terrifying thing. If you're in a heavy-duty truck and it's super heavy, that's different, but...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. I drive a little Nissan Sentra, so she does not handle particularly well. Love her, though.
I'm actually going to argue, as a Buffalonian, that rainstorms are worse.
Here's the thing, I gotta say, I don't really know what my stance is, because, Brooks, the last, like, 2 or 3 times I've come to visit you, I have wound up driving through a fucking hurricane. And it's terrifying.
I found that with most snowstorms, a lot more people will drive cautiously because they know, like, oh god, it's snowing. Have you ever been driving on the highway in a rainstorm and you can't see, like, 5 feet in front of you, so you're, like, shaking, going 40 on the highway?
And people are still just like, gotta go.
Yeah. Terrifies me. The worst.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Can't do it.
This question actually came out of a conversation that I had with somebody a few months ago. So I was like, oh, I'm putting that in the doc because we definitely disagreed. That she thought that rainstorms were worse, and I thought snowstorms were worse. But now I'm not sure where I fall on that, because I'm pretty confident driving in snow. I'm from Ohio. I've lived in Maine and Chicago, and here it's all snowy places. So I'm pretty confident at my snow driving abilities. And so yeah, it sucks, but I will get through the snowstorm. But I feel like with a really bad rainstorm, when you have that kind of torrential rain where no matter how fast your wipers go, you still
just can't see.
Yeah, I've never had snow bad enough that I felt like I had to pull over and wait.
Yeah, I have had rain bad enough where I've had to, like, stop the vehicle.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I only think that snowstorms are a little bit better because we are so well prepared for them. So, like, we have specific snow tires for winter. We have salt trucks that are just ready to go. Like, there's supposed to be a huge snowstorm around here. So there are just city workers with the salt trucks ready to go. And you can't prep for that with rain at all. But if we had no prep for snowstorms, they would be worse.
She has a point.
I'm in Buffalo, too. And this last storm that we had, like, a few weeks ago, the plows took forever to get to the side streets because we had like 2 feet of snow in a very short period of time. And then it just kept kind of coming every couple of days. There'd be more on top of it. And I remember, like I said, it might be car dependent, but I'm pretty confident driving in the snow. But even just turning off of my street onto a different side street, I got stuck. Not because I was being stupid, but because it like bottomed out. The snow was too much. And so I feel like, I don't know. With rain, I'd never feel stuck either. Like, with snow, the plows can, like...
You do have a point.
Stick you in.
Oh, yeah. One time, my aunt and uncle, they were on their way home from somewhere. They're driving on the highway, and the snow was starting to get bad. So they're like, let's just pull over. Like, we'll just chill for an hour or two, see if it gets, like, less bad or whatever. So they're just chilling at this rest stop. And then the governor closed down the highway, and they were just stuck at that rest stop for, like, 2 days, waiting for the highway to reopen.
I never thought about that, because I've seen gates to close off the highway. I'm like, that makes sense, you know, if it's bad enough and we don't have the prep, like you were saying, the salt, the plows out there. But what if people are just...
Yep.
They don't
Just
have
chilling at a
hotels
rest
or anything
stop.
at those.
Nope.
Bruh.
It's like being stuck at the airport, but worse.
So that's the interesting thing. It's like, if you need to pull over and wait out a rainstorm, once the rain's over, you're golden.
Yeah.
But with a snowstorm, it's like, yeah, the snow might stop, but you still got, like, a foot of snow or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that could definitely be a problem.
But also to that point about, like, not getting stuck in the rain, I think the equivalent for a rainstorm is if it rains enough, certain places flood out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where I live, my road's like it dead ends in my apartment complex, and there's only one road to get out of it. And sometimes when it's like a really big rainstorm, it will flood entirely to the point where you can't leave. And there's nothing they can really do about it but wait until it dries out.
Fun.
Yeah.
My town has one road like that floods all the time, and you can see every time it rains really badly, people have posted videos and stuff because the water is just shooting out of the sewer drain and just going all down the road, and like the manhole covers have been popped off and the water's popping out.
If it rains bad enough, my backyard will, like, kind of flood. Not ideal. Although I remember one time when we were little kids, we just, like, took, like, boogie boards and started, like, skimming across, like...
That's fun.
Just, like, the giant puddle. That was kind of fun.
I still feel like even in the news, you don't hear that many stories about, oh, during yesterday's torrential downpour, like, there was this X-car pile up on the road when somebody spun out. I feel like that's so much more common with snow. But again,
Yeah.
that would just be someone who's not used to it, potentially.
This is a really hard call, I gotta say. I think I'm gonna say rain. Because, again, just, like, I've never had snow so bad that I had to stop.
I mean, I've driven in whiteout. It's kind of similar to, you know, a torrential downpour where everything's totally dark.
I tend to be paranoid about driving in the rain because once when I was a senior in high school, I was on a long drive to go visit a college by myself, and I hydroplaned into the road divider, and it popped one of my tires.
Oh my god.
And so, you know, cut to me just in the middle of the road, cars whizzing by me, flat tire, you know, I'm 17 years old at this point, just freaking out in the rain, you know, getting drenched.
Cute.
Right? The tire. Yeah. So I know that was like a long time ago.
No, that sticks.
Years.
That sticks. I, like, slid through I talked about this a couple episodes ago. It was snowing in the morning, and it was only, like, just, like, the lightest little dusting, but I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, and the plows hadn't gotten out yet, or, like, and the salt trucks hadn't gotten out yet, and I, like, slid through a stop sign, and it was one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me. Was not going fast. It was on a side street. Nobody was coming.
I think, personally, rainstorms are worse for me. I get more anxiety driving in the rain than I do in the snow, because the snow I'm just used to at this point. But on, like, a national scale for the United States, snow is much worse because people don't know how to prepare for it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to say that. But even though I have slid through a stop sign driving in the snow, driving in the rain freaks me out more, because the times I have been driving in, like, torrential downpour, I have been on the highway.
Yep.
This was just, like, on a side street at 5 a.m. with no one else awake, where I just, like, skirt.
Well, it's different on the highway, too, because it'll seem like it's coming down a lot harder if you're going faster.
Yeah.
So it could maybe not even be that hard of a rain, but once you're on the highway going, you know, 60 miles, 70 miles per hour, it's louder, it's scarier, it's darker.
Yeah, no. So I personally am going to say rain, final answer.
I'm in between. I can't.
Entirely fair.
I've definitely had some bad experiences in snowstorms. I will never forget. I think I was in college. I was driving down a road home from work, and my car went entirely sideways and slid sideways down the road for a while.
Oh no.
And yeah, this was when I worked at a Sheetz. For those who are unfamiliar, it is a gas station that has a made-to-order food place as part of it.
Cute.
I made the food, but I would work like late shifts, so this was at like 2 a.m. or something. And so I just kind of stopped and sat there Like, I am sideways.
I mean, that's scary, but that's also like that's a little funny.
Wheels aren't supposed to go that way. They're supposed to go that way. And so that still haunts me.
One time I was driving during a snowstorm, and I was going, 10, 15 miles an hour. Couldn't really see in front of me. But the snowstorm was so bad that a tree had fallen down in the middle of the road. And so by the time I saw it, I was too close to be able to brake fully. And I was like, all right, here we go. And I drove into a ditch.
Oh my God.
But the car was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong. Like, I don't know how I got so lucky.
No, that's literally...
I can crash into the tree,
literally,
or I can crash into a ditch.
The exact thing that happened to me. Like, my wheels were, like, just, like, off the road a little bit. In, like, some bushes. I just backed up, and everything was fine. It was great.
Slow enough definitely saved you, yeah.
Yeah, so. Adventures.
Maybe I'm just super lucky. I've never hydroplaned. I've never had a problem in the rain. I have to go with snow because, I mean, I've had the experience of, whoops, didn't mean to, like, drift around that corner, but that's what happened.
Yeah, I have never.
And even with, like, my dad drilling into me how to drive in the snow and having experience with it, I just feel like I'm so much less in control when I'm driving in the snow than I am in the rain.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to stay in control of your vehicle at all times. I'm not saying I'm just letting it go wherever, but like I feel like more can happen to me without like my input as opposed to the rain.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
If that makes sense.
Why does my mic keep not picking things up? Do better.
I think your sensitivity might be a bit low. It's just like the very beginning or end, I think, of your phrases.
Okay, well.
I think I'm gonna lean more towards snowstorm. Just because I'm thinking about how hard it is to get up hills in a bad snowstorm. I'm really hoping I don't have to go to campus tomorrow.
Oh, fingers crossed.
The whole campus is on like a hill, like. And that when I have to leave, I go up that hill in front of what's the hall called? Doty Hall. It's like super steep, and my car will.
Yeah.
So.
For that reason, since the students came back, I work in IT for a university, so I'm pretty lucky I can work from home pretty much as often as I want. But I was going into the office 1 or 2 days a week, but not when it's as crowded as it is right now.
Nope.
Thanks anyway.
All right. Well, solid discussion, I would say. Very solid discussion. All right. So, the next one inspires so much discussion in the group chat. I'm so excited to talk about this. Brooks, you put the question in the Google Doc in the first place, so take it away.
So at this point, I assume everybody is familiar with MLMs or multi-level marketing. And I don't know, personally, I have so many people that I barely knew in like high school or college that I have on social media who are constantly sending me messages about whatever their MLM is. And it almost seems like it brainwashed them in a way. And that's what makes me ask this question. Are MLMs cults?
Absolutely, yes, they are.
Big yes.
Emily, I know that you have a prepared statement. Take it away.
Oh, I have multiple prepared statements. At
Beautiful.
This point. So I actually did a project on this for one of my science classes in undergrad. We were talking about pseudoscience, and so I looked into the MLM doTERRA, and basically what they do is they sell these essential oils that are supposed to be so good for you and help you out with all of these issues, talking about how it can cure depression just by using this essential oil in your food or putting it in a diffuser or whatever. And so I start doing my little research, looking around the website, and they were like, we have these links to these studies that prove it. And the studies we're funded by the company, which is sus. But also, if you actually click the link and read the study, the findings are always that they might be connected. There was no, like, we know with a certain level of certainty that these two things are connected. They're just like, oh, you know, it could work. It could have a connection. And I just will never understand why people are just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Seems legit.
I mean, I think it's pretty, like, accepted.
The essential oil ones piss me off so much. Particularly because, like, they aren't entirely useless. They just don't work for the things that people in these MLMs say that they do. Like, tea tree oil, for example. Like, that will help with acne in some cases. But it is not going to cure depression.
Lavender's been shown to help you sleep and that kind of thing.
Yeah, stuff
or
like that. Or, like, you know, like,
thing.
if you put a little peppermint, like, I don't even know if it's, like, quote-unquote essential oil, but, like, a little peppermint oil in tea, like, that will help if you have a sore throat. But, like, it's not gonna cure cancer.
I think I've, like, thought a lot about this because I get really mad when people are like, essential oils don't do anything, because that's clearly not true. I think the thing is that these people say that they can cure causes of things when all they can do is actually ease symptoms of things. And, like, the distinction there is important and big and not being noted.
Well, because that's why I was looking at the depression study, and they said that, like, people's moods were lifted. I was like, yeah, sure. I come in, it smells like pine, and I'm like, nice. But, like, that doesn't mean I gotta get off my depression meds. Hello?
Setting, like, decades of work against mental health stigma back, because suddenly mood equals mental health again. Thanks, doTERRA.
But I think the culty part of it is that study after study after study with these has shown that in any MLM, 1% of the people who are a part of it actually make money. Yet that, like, when these people recruit you, they somehow can be like, oh, well, like, you're going to be part of that. You're going to be a part of that. You're going to be that 1% that makes money. I'm like, no, you're not. And I hate it.
The amount of money that people, like, sink into these things as well is just ridiculous. Like, there's this whole subreddit. It is called r/anti-MLM, and it's beautiful. If you are ever bored and just want to browse, like, just so much evidence of how ridiculous these MLM people are, oh my god, it's so entertaining. But, like, literally, like, people, like, get divorced over this shit. Like, what? It's absolutely insane. Like, it is so culty.
There's a documentary now about the rise and fall of LuLaRoe.
Oh, I'm checking that out.
Yeah.
I love a good
documentary. I didn't realize until just now, but I'm wearing a LuLaRoe dress. I got it at a thrift store, though.
Doesn't count. You're good.
Well, you know what? Like,
they're really comfy.
Some of the stuff was kind of cute.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Again, some of them aren't even, like, necessarily, like, all that bad. It's just the, like, sales model. Like, yeah, if, like, some of the, like, LuLaRoe patterns are absolutely awful, but, like, if you just want some, like, cheap pattern leggings you can wear to a yoga class, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the predatory nature of the sales model.
Yes.
That's what gets me about that subreddit, though, is because they're always like, it's a pyramid scheme, but the defining thing about pyramid schemes is that they don't have an actual product or service to offer, where, like, Avon, Mary Kay, doTERRA, even LuLaRoe, they are selling something. You are getting something in return, and you have something to offer. So it's the marketing structure, not the entire business model, that is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I would be so okay with it. Like, can you imagine if you're like, oh, I'm in the mood for some Avon makeup, so you just get to go to Avon's website
and just get some cheap
mascara. Just purchase it from Avon themselves, and you're just like, cool, sweet. But instead, it's got to be Susan, who you knew vaguely in high school, who's like, hey, do you want to buy this? It'll change your life.
That's how Avon started.
I
Avon
recently
was like,
found out that the Pampered Chef, either it, like, has always been or is now an MLM, which is kind of annoying, because they have some sweet kitchen gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
My mom sold Pampered Chef in, like,
mine too.
the early 2000s.
So did mine. She hosted a couple parties.
Yep.
But again, it never felt like it was...
Tupperware?
It never felt like...
a big one.
At least in my memory, I remember no MLM things. Like, there were, like, here's a pizza stone. If you would like to order one, here's a form. But, like, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the big thing with these is that the best way to make money off of them is by recruiting people to be underneath you. Because then, like, you know, here's the person at the top, and if you have 2 people below you, every time they make a sale, you make some money off of it. And then if these people have people underneath them, every time these people down here make a sale, the person way up here gets money from it. So the best way to make money is to get those people recruited.
Here's the problem, though, because I don't think that is, like, that's not uncommon, right? So people coming into these things are thinking, what do you mean that's a problem? That's how every business works. You know, we have a manager who hires people, and the product of their work comes back, and I get to make more money because of their work. So that's not, like, I think that's why people are so susceptible to, I guess, being drawn into this kind of thing, because it's a misinformation about the structure of the company, like, and how where your payment is actually coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the like the pyramid scheme line kind of comes from. But I still don't, I'm on the side of not a cult, because I don't think being a bad business model or sus or predatory necessarily means a cult. It can be all those things without being a cult.
I am gonna say cult, just because of the amount of, like, brainwashing that they do to people. I'm gonna say cult.
To me, a cult, like, there needs to be a common belief that everyone's sharing and working toward, and then kitty, and then I think, like, the main thing for me that makes a cult, and this could be wrong, but I feel like it's kind of uniting behind a face, a leader, you know what I mean? Like, for every cult that I think of, like the Manson family, or like the People's Temple, or even like Heaven's Gate had like their yin and yang, or like Tui and La, or whatever the heck they were called. Like, there's always like a figurehead who's going to lead us to whatever this belief is. And I don't think with these companies that's present.
Brooks, I see you have your phone out. Would you like to educate us? Would you like to bring in your vocabulary?
Yeah, the definitions that I was looking at. Because I feel like so often this stuff just comes... So many of the things we discuss could easily be answered with the dictionary sometimes. But this brings in more points for discussion, I think.
Beautiful.
Right, so I looked at the definition of a cult. And there's a few different ones, like a system of religious veneration and devotion toward a particular figure or object. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister, or a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. And this led me to look up the definition of religion. And this one also has a few. The belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, that doesn't really apply. A particular system of faith and worship. A pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. So I think with both of those, the last definition applies a little bit in this case.
I'm going to agree.
Because the final definition of cult, again, a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. I feel like they do often kind of exhibit a little bit of an obsessive nature toward the companies that they're marketing for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And even religion, a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. You know? And I think they, by nature, they kind of need to have that I mean, obsessive might be strong, but a really big focus on the company, because they're putting out so much of their own money, and just like psychologically speaking, the way the human brain works is that we feel like we have to justify things, right? So they can't be part of this and put out all this money and say like, oh, it's stupid, I don't care about it. If you do that, it creates too much dissonance. So you have to dedicate yourself to it even more strongly. There's actually a really cool series of psychology experiments from a few decades ago.
That's kind of sick. We can link those.
Yeah, I mean, just as a quick example, they would give people either, I believe it was either $1 or $20, and then have them write an essay about a position on an issue that they did not agree with. And then they would ask them afterwards, like, hey, so why did you write this essay? The people who got the $20, which at the time was more money than it is now, but the people who got the $20, they were like, well, I did it because I got $20. Right? They paid me to do it. But the people who only got $1, like, you can't say I did it for $1 because that's not very much money and it doesn't seem like justification. So the people that got the $1 were more likely to say that they actually thought they made good points and they believed in the issue because they had no other justification.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So if you have no external justification, you will look internally for justification. So I can't point to the money as an external, so I have to look inside and say it is actually my opinion as justification. So it's a similar sort of thing, I think, that they put out all this money, right? And so if they looked at the product and said, oh, this product isn't like a good product, it's like snake oil or whatever, that's not going to be sufficient justification for all the money that they spent, and that's going to create dissonance. So they look inward and they say, no, I actually believe in this. This is something that's really important to me. Maybe it's even part of my identity because that makes me feel better and justify the money that I put into it.
That is some solid points. That's fascinating.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, I actually just was talking to my therapist about cults, and he was talking about the way people get drawn into cults. And I said, oh, that would absolutely be me. I'm going to end up in a cult one day. I can just feel it. But one of the things they do is they look specifically for people who are alone, don't have access to family and friends to like talk sense into them and whatever. And one of the places that MLMs is most common is with military wives. Well, their husband is deployed and gone and can't like.
But also, like, because a lot of, like, say someone is a military wife and they're also, like, and prior to, like, meeting their husband or whatever, they were an RN, like, they can't practice in every state that, say, like, you know, every base that they move to with their husband. Yeah. But, like, if you're a distributor for an MLM, you can do that anywhere. Yeah. And, like, if you're constantly like, getting...
oh, well, do you want friends?
Yeah, if you're constantly getting uprooted...
And then you'll have people to hang out with while your husband's gone.
Yeah, it's things like this that, like, make me really lean in on the cult.
And also, I read and listen to a ton of cult stuff. I am a little bit obsessed with them.
Last podcast on the left, baby. Yeah. I just started listening to the Children of God cult the other day. Oh my god.
The worst.
Their Jim Jones series is really, really, really good. They did a great job with that.
Wait, you like the last podcast on the left?
Yeah.
Bridget and I are going to see them live in April. We got VIP tickets.
Oh, that's sick.
It's gonna be so good. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a huge like fangirl. I just every once in a while, because they're kind of, I feel like you kind of got to be in the mood for it. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. But yeah, no, their Jim Jones series was awesome. Anyway, continue.
I don't know. Children of God might be the worst one. Either that or I'm sure.
No, it's nasty.
To their
anyway.
One too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I remember what my point was. Oh, I feel like, and actually, Manson would be a better example of this, Manson family, because I feel like a lot of times when people first start getting into like a cult mentality, they're still pretty rational and reasonable, but as they get deeper and deeper into it and more dedicated to it, they're more willing to do things that they would not have done previously. like murder people.
No.
In the case of the Manson family. But I feel like this happens with MLMs too. Like I mentioned that I have like people I barely knew in high school and college that have been contacting me.
And it's always, hey
and I
girl,
feel like,
sparkle emoji.
Yeah. And I feel like they're putting themselves out there and pretending we were best friends in a way that should be embarrassing to them, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine ever doing something like that. And even these people don't seem like the kind of people when I knew them that would do that sort of thing. And so I feel like they've gotten in so deep that now they're doing more extreme things that they wouldn't have done beforehand. Much like the Manson family.
The getting in too deep thing, you just reminded me of another like actual cult. Has anyone here watched the documentary Holy Hell about the Buddhafield cult?
No.
It's insane. It's on Netflix. It's great.
All right, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Beautiful.
I'm writing it
but
down.
The thing about it is that in the beginning, like it started out as like this kind of like hippie commune where like everyone like genuinely like worked together, pooled resources, like helped take care of each other, and like literally like one of the like cult survivors that they interview in this documentary is quoted as like saying at the they said at the time like some of their family was like, hey, like what are you getting up to, like this seems kind of culty, and they're like, well, if this is a cult then this is a great cult, because like again at the beginning it was all like, hey, we're a family, we take care of each other, and like by the time that they're in too deep, like it's too late.
With that specific cult, what was the, because I'm still on the no side, and I'm looking more at the point of the definition that Dr. Brooks brought up with the false, what was the phrasing? Misinformation or unfounded belief
of the cult. There's a few ones. Which one were you thinking of?
I guess the specific wording isn't important, but it seemed to note an importance on false information.
A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing?
Maybe misplaced. Or maybe it was in the...
Are we talking about like cults that have like a person at the head that like everyone is supposed to like a lot of the religious ones is like, oh, I'm the next Jesus or I'm the next prophet or whatever.
Which is a blatantly false thing. And like Charles Manson told his followers, you know, hey, if you follow me and do what I say, you'll sprout wings. And also, you know, there's definitely a race war going to happen, and I have proof. And all of these blatantly false things. And, you know, Heaven's Gate, we have, you know, a comet that's going to come and give us our planet or whatever their thing was. So, like, the culty part of it is you've brainwashed these people into believing something that is patently and definitely false. Whereas, with the multi-level marketing schemes, is it extremely unlikely to ever, you know, turn a great profit and make your living off of this and get your pink Mary Kay car? Yeah, it's unlikely, but, like, technically there is a path to that, and it just happens to involve making a fool of yourself in your friend's DMs.
See, I think the false belief though is that like, you know, like essential oils are curing cancer. Like I feel like that's the false belief, not necessarily that. I mean, like that that everyone who buys into it thinks they're going to become a millionaire, even though like a lot of people seem to.
So, doTERRA is a cult, but Mary Kay is not.
Ooh,
like,
you know what
I mean?
Beachbody.
It works. When you have to name your product, it works. It probably don't work.
That shit.
Nope.
Give me a break.
But anyway, so the new MLM that I'm extra angry about that I just learned about, like literally tonight.
Hit me with it.
I did a whole YouTube rabbit hole about it. Is Beachbody, which is like a workout, exercise video thing, and so you can join and become a Beachbody trainer by just paying money. And then all of a sudden you are a Beachbody trainer and you are allowed to tell other people, hi, I think you should be doing this exercise and this exercise and this, even though you don't know anything.
That is going to
I am
hurt
on my
people.
way to become a certified personal
dangerous.
trainer, so I'm like extra about it, but and they just have like these videos of their master trainers doing the exercises, but it's all like from one angle. They never talk about like what your form should be like or anything. They're just like, yep, here you go. And then these people are just like, yeah, I'm a trainer and I think you should follow this program and I think you should do this and do that because they paid money.
People are going to destroy their joints.
Paying them money for medical advice.
Even Zumba, which you'd think, how hard can teaching a Zumba class be? You're just going to dance. You know what I mean? They require you to do, you have to pay as well, but that's not uncommon. But they require you to do like a certain number of trainings or, you know, learn the thing you're supposed to be teaching people.
Yeah. But like the Zumba thing, I understand paying because you are like, that's a service. You are paying to be taught something so that you can then teach a class on it.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yep. So I think we could make, like, I think MLMs as a whole aren't cults, but I think you could make a case for some specific companies who are kind of brainwashing them with false information, because there's kind of two different things here, right? Like, the belief that I'm going to get really good at this and make a profit, and then the belief in the product or service.
Okay, yeah, so like a makeup MLM, for example, the products might not be that great, it's cheap makeup, but it's makeup. You're not saying it's like gonna cure cancer or whatever. The like essential oil fit tea stuff, that's a cult.
Laxatives.
That's
literal
a cult.
Laxatives.
Fit tea.
That is a cult.
Yeah.
I think that's a good consensus, though.
I'd be happy with that classification.
By the way, Holy Hell is not on Netflix right now.
No,
my
god, it's so good.
And here's some recommendations if you don't currently have it.
Rip. Okay, just...
They do have a Children of God documentary on here.
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Apparently they got a survivor of it talking about it. It's only an hour long.
Interesting. Some things to do with your evening.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching that and then like going to sleep and maybe dreaming things.
I would like to
See, I haven't even finished the series yet, so I don't even know. Like, I'm sure it's gonna get worse, but I don't know how much worse.
Oh,
I am on anti-nightmare medication, so
cute.
try me.
Yeah, don't
Very
know about
cute.
that. There's another podcast that I've listened to. I don't know if like can I like plug it?
Oh, we constantly plug other people's
not mine
podcasts.
or anything. But
I mean,
it's called,
plug your own.
I stream on Twitch.
Hell yeah, we'll include we'll include everyone's links in the description for whatever they want. It'll be great. We promo our friends here.
But I'm not gonna say like my favorite murderer, because that I don't like the phrasing of that. But I guess yeah, but like my pet case, I guess you could say, like Charles Manson is like, I'm low-key obsessed in not an admiration kind of way with Charles Manson, making that clear.
Fascinated by the case.
There's a podcast called You Must Remember This, which is actually about scandals in Hollywood and like Hollywood history and all of the awful things that Hollywood got up to, and she did a 13-part series on Charles Manson and all of his connections to the music industry and to Hollywood and the Beach Boys and all of that stuff. It is so well done and it is so fascinating, and that's what first got me super like fascinated by his life, because what a roller coaster.
Yeah, there were so many points where I feel like if one turn had been in the other direction, we might not have had this.
If one like social worker was like, come with me, allow me to assist you, like,
no, okay,
let's turn you this way.
When I last podcast did a series about Eileen Wuornos, which was fascinating, but the whole time I was listening to it, I was like, if one single person had given half of a fuck about this like teenager who was literally living in the woods by herself, and this was public, not like people knew this. If someone had given half a fuck, this almost certainly never would have happened.
I always feel like that when I read about Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, if someone had just been like, hey bro, it's okay to be gay, don't worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad, honestly.
Tangent, but you mentioned your favorite, not favorite case. What is everybody's terrible to say favorite, but like thing you're obsessed with?
What is everyone's true crime case that they find the most interesting?
Bada bing.
Mine is JonBenet Ramsey. I'm obsessed.
That is a case with a lot of things to think about. Now, man, I am very interested by the JonBenet Ramsey case, but I'm trying to think of if I have another one. Brooks, did you just say something?
I can pick one.
Top 3.
I mean, I find Jonestown to be incredibly, because there's so much detail and there's always so much more stuff. It doesn't end because there were so many people in it. Because 9 people died.
Yeah, and also they shot a senator.
Yeah,
they shot a sitting congressperson.
They freaking assassinated. They shot him in the face 3 times.
And the whole drinking the Kool-Aid thing was the second time they did that. They did a whole, hey, everybody drink this Kool-Aid, and then it was Flavor Aid. Hey, it was poisoned. The second one was Flavor Aid. Or the first, one of the 2 was Flavor Aid. The other one was actually Kool-Aid. Yeah. But then they were like, hey, this was poisoned. Sees everybody reaction, and they're like, haha, JK. But what if?
Regularly. He did it dozens of times.
Right.
That's why by the time it was a real thing, they were just like, oh, hey, he's messing with us again, right?
Uh-huh.
And then people started convulsing, and they're like, never mind.
Nope.
I'm literally looking at the last podcast feed to give myself some inspiration here, because there's so many. There's so many cases that I find absolutely fascinating.
I like Lizzie Borden too, just because she would have been caught if any single man on that jury was like, maybe I'm not scared of women. You know what I mean?
Also just the fact that
she got away with...
literally got away with it, because it was no proper lady could do this, and everyone was like, yeah, okay.
And she had her clothes were covered in blood or something, and her excuse was, I was on my period. They were all like, okay, sure, good enough, don't want anymore.
No periods.
Bye, doesn't exist.
Serial killer wise, H.H. Holmes, probably. Because of the murder castle.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Super, educated on.
He, first of all, world-class con man.
Oh, yeah.
Just ridiculous schemes he pulled. But he built an entire hotel for the express purpose of torturing and murdering people. He had airtight rooms to suffocate people with a little view thing so he could watch them suffocate. He had, chutes that he could just, like a laundry chute down to the basement to put them down there.
I mean, it's like David Parker Ray, too.
I'm gonna say that one of that...
toy box killer.
No, I hate him so much, I don't want to think about
him. The serial killer case that I find most fascinating is Andre Chikatilo.
Oh, the way he would gouge out their eyes because he thought that they would retain his image after death.
Yeah. He was like a serial killer in Soviet Russia. It's fascinating. And the way that the kind of Soviet work system allowed him to just kind of be to shuffle around to different places and just he was able to operate for so long just by I think he was at maybe a steel worker or something, and he was able to just he was in some form of manual labor industry in the Soviet Union, and the way he was able to just not get caught for the longest time because he would just shuffle off to another plant. It's insane. Fascinating case. The Chikatilo case is definitely the serial killer case I find the most interesting, but I'm looking at other...
You guys heard of... You just said the Russian, Anatoly Moskvin? He was oh gosh, okay, so he wasn't a killer, which maybe is why he didn't come up in the same things, but he would, oh god, I can't even talk about it. He would dig up bodies and then sort of re-preserve them in these weird life-size doll type situations.
Oh yeah.
Why do I not know about this? I am the history
pictures
of
are horrifying.
The history of the Soviet Union is one of my personal favorite just research topics.
Oh, that was definitely post-Soviet.
That might be why.
That was early 2000s, I think.
That might be why it did not.
But, the pictures are horrifying because at first glance you're like, okay, he's a hoarder. I see nothing wrong with this. Then you're looking closer. I'm like, wait, there's an actual person inside of that.
Yeah, that is. I am gonna have to give that a Google. That is whack.
I'm gonna be super basic.
Hit me with it.
And go with Ted Bundy.
That
just because basic. freaking movie with Zac Efron, I literally found myself being like, oh, you know, maybe he's innocent. Maybe it's okay. And I just know that had Ted Bundy talked to me, I would have been gone.
And you would have, because you are a brunette with long hair.
Yeah. It's not parted down the middle, though. You're safe.
I used to be. But, like, and so that, like, I am obsessed with it because I'm like, I know that I would just get sucked right into it. And I would just be like, oh, yeah, you want to go to the middle of nowhere? Sounds great. Let's go.
Yeah, just gas money. I'm fine.
Yeah.
The whole, like, satanic panic in the United States is just, like, kind of a, like, fascinating thing.
It's not over.
It literally isn't.
I was running when the pandemic first started. I was trying to think of ways to like get my college roommate and some of my friends together. We weren't able to see each other, and I was like, I know, I'll run a D&D game. And one of my friends came to me and was like, I was really excited, but then my mom told me that I shouldn't play D&D because XYZ, and I'm like, she knows me. She loves me. Why does she think that I'm suddenly like evil trying to get you wrapped up in something? What? I was just baffled. I really didn't even know what to reply with. I was like, I mean, I guess I'll take the tieflings out. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, that's a bit much, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I felt bad, but she did end up playing and had a good time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I got her into it, but the fact that we had to get over that hump was kind of disappointing and shocking.
I think the Ted Kaczynski case is really interesting because if they hadn't shot this shot this child up with inhuman amounts of LSD, none of this would have happened. Like, he was, like, I think he was most likely under 18. Like, that's a child.
Yeah.
And they were just like, here you go, experiment.
That's how the Manson family got wrapped in.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, 1 tab for you, 2 tabs for you, 1 for you, 3 for you. I need you around, you know?
So many interesting ones.
There's so many interesting true crime cases. Or just, like, in general, like, unsolved mysteries. Like, this is technically solved now, but, like, oh my god, the Dyatlov Pass case. Fascinating. Such cool stuff. I mean, not cool, but, like, very interesting to learn about.
I think Henry Lee Lucas is an interesting case, too, just because we will never know how many people he actually killed because he confessed 150 murders.
And they were all, like, drifter murders.
Yeah, but so, it's like some of them they could prove he did, but some of them they could prove he didn't. So, like, where's that line?
Right.
Yeah. And also, again, but, like, drifter cases, like, there were people who, like, didn't have anyone to look for them.
Carl Panzram.
You don't know. I haven't gotten to that one yet.
He was a drifter killer. He's, like, the meanest man. And
oh, boy.
Yeah, he had, like, some sort of title like that.
Interesting.
I always forget the name of that guy, too. The Japanese guy who killed the college student and ate her, and then was caught trying to dump suitcases with her body parts in them into a lake in the middle of the day with people around.
Oh my god, no, I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember the name.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In the middle of the day?
In the middle of the day.
Broad daylight, he's trying to dump these suitcases, and he dropped one of them, and it fell open, and body parts spilled out, and there were just people walking around. It was a
moment.
Right, and so he gets caught, of course, people freaking out.
Right.
But the kicker of this particular case is that because of some technicality of Japanese law, they set him
he's
free.
Just free.
And he's a celebrity in Japan now. Like, he wrote a book. Yeah, he's like a celebrity.
Yeah.
He ate a person.
Did anybody ever find out, like, was he doing that in the middle of the day because he was just a dumbass? Or, like, did the guilt get to him? And so he would, like, he subconsciously did it knowing he would get caught? Or is he just dumb?
You know, I don't think he thought about it, really. He's like, they're in a suitcase, no one's going to notice. Yeah. These blood suitcases.
So the man is simply a dumbass. Got it.
I gotta say, one of the things I do love about Last Podcast on the Left specifically is the way that, like, with a lot of serial killers, like, when they're talking about them, they really, like, make the effort to knock them down a peg.
Well, that's the thing. People always want to paint the picture of like, wow, this guy is so scary because he was a genius and like carefully plotted every step. You don't have to be a genius to like get away with this stuff most of the time. You just have to like pick on somebody who nobody's looking for, which is why they're all going after drifters, like you were saying, or prostitutes or whatever. Because
and also just like Ted Bundy, like be like white and well off.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like be a college Republican. Quite literally.
So we need to start looking at like Turning Point USA. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Well, you know, Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer.
Ted
so,
Cruz
like,
is the Zodiac killer.
We've already figured out this pattern.
This is true.
Ben Shapiro, I'm coming for you. Arrest this man.
We need to find...
Good Charlotte called it.
We need to find...
You know, if you're famous, you can kill your wife as long as you got the cash to pay for Cochran.
We need to find a cold case that has never been solved, where like the police sketch looks like Ben Shapiro. We need to make that the next like Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. It might take some Googling. It might take a bit of research, but I think we can do it.
I think we can do it.
I think we can.
There were quite a few sketches that looked vastly different in the Son of Sam case, none of which really looked like David Berkowitz. I'm wondering if one of those might work.
Ben Shapiro is the Son of Sam, you heard it here.
There was actually 2 Sons of Sam.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro is one of the Sons of Sam. You heard it here, folks.
This is revolutionary stuff.
We love to see it.
David Berkowitz is innocent. That he was covering for the actual Son of Sam, his next door neighbor. So.
Was that actually a thing that they like went over?
No, there's a documentary on Netflix though where they make the case, Sons of Sam.
Oh, fun. Another potential thing to check out. We are just throwing out recommendations left and right here. So if anyone's bored.
I'm like practically convinced. And also, you know, spoiler alert, there's cult stuff in it too.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Which it's pretty convincing, I'm not gonna lie.
Love a good cult.
I will definitely have to check this out. But you know, again, if you can find it, holy hell, that is a great cult documentary. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Would we like to make a complete 180?
It's like we went off on a whole tangent.
We went off on a whole tangent, and the next thing I have listed is is Smash or Pass.
Smash or Pass.
Yeah,
boy. We are not attracted to Ted Bundy.
No, Ted Bundy is not even attractive.
Yeah,
he's not.
He literally isn't.
I don't get it.
But like,
average at
it
best.
would work on me. I just know it would.
He's not as unattractive as some serial killers. That's the only reason. It's like, you know, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, he is very handsome.
Yeah, where's the bar? At our feet.
Yeah, the bar is on the floor.
Comparing him to someone like John Wayne Gacy or Arthur Shawcross or Pee Wee Gaskins.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. Okay, so as I told Kat in the Discord earlier, we do have a list of some hot people.
Oh,
that
let me open my laptop, start Googling
hot people. Because
tentatively hot people.
Yeah, because we might not agree.
That one can pick from, or if you can think of someone who gives you sinful thoughts, just start there, and then we'll all share our opinion and go in a circle.
I thought it would be fun to do like that moment of awakening type theme, you know, when you're watching like Kim Possible, and or in Avatar when Zuko gets his long hair or whatever. Atlantis, for some reason Kida was Helga in Atlantis as well. You know what I mean? Those moments when you're like, I feel things, and I'm trying to figure out what these feelings are.
Although technically mine has already been covered in a previous game of Smash or Pass.
Is there a list we're looking at? Because I don't think I have access to the doc.
Here, let me send you a screenshot.
There's not one on there. Oh, a different doc.
Yeah, it's in content pool.
Yeah.
Pop this in the Discord real quick.
I'm trying to think of all the like things I used to watch and who like I was like, oh, wait a minute.
I have actually had that thought twice this week, which is very unusual for me, but they're both people that are like not necessarily obscure, but like but people are gonna know who I mean if I just say their name.
Okay.
One recently I just started watching House. And Hugh Laurie, who is Dr. House himself.
Hugh Laurie?
Yeah, absolutely. Smash. 100%.
Oh, I don't know.
He's so old.
I'm gonna say pass. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say pass, although I will admit that listening to... Did you know Hugh Laurie is, like... He puts out music, like... I knew that in the show he... played piano. I haven't actually seen it. Medical, I can't do it. But his voice is really great. And it might scoot me a little closer, but still not enough to tip the scale.
I love his actual accent. He has a lovely voice. I just don't think I could do it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I love old men. That's my downfall.
No, okay, literally, I've probably said this on the podcast before, but literally the first time someone ever said to me, oh, you'll probably think he's cute, like when talking about a celebrity, they were like, oh, you'll probably think he's cute, you like older men. I was in 5th grade.
So?
Emily, you were the one going after all of your history teachers, weren't you?
No! My math teachers!
I feel like it's always, for some reason, the history teachers that all of the girls are like, he's so cute! And I'm like, why?
My sister, I will not name any names, but my sister thinks somebody in the history department is a DILF.
I have had 2 history teachers that were males growing up. One is just absolute big dad energy, like, I still will, like, message him when I need advice, absolute dad. And then the other one is super gay, so I wouldn't even have a chance if I wanted to, but...
Fair enough. Would anyone like to go next? Because I can. I most certainly can.
Yeah, hit me.
Off you go.
Alright, off the list here. Mads Mikkelsen.
Hold on. Gotta do some Googling.
Give me a second. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Smash. I'm gonna say Smash.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to separate him from Hannibal.
It is, but like...
Oh, okay. I would smash.
Yes. Hell yeah, dude.
I want to talk about it.
Okay, I have one for you, actually, Emily, that we might agree on. Jason Isaacs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and in one of my favorite shows, he plays an absolute scumbag, and I still would.
Yeah. And not even, like, some of them, too, I don't know what it is, like, with celebrities, I feel like I almost will, like, they get just, like, a little bit of extra smashness because they're celebrities. I'm like, oh, like, you're famous, whatever, but Jason, I would just smash anyway. Doesn't matter. He could be some random man off the street. And I'd be like, yep.
Okay, here's one where just, like, I think personality definitely might have a factor, or just, like, the fact that this guy's kind of has a reputation as being a bit unhinged. What do we think about Robert Pattinson, ladies?
So I'm gonna say pass, but that is merely because, like, I just want to hang out with him and be his best friend.
Oh, okay. Well, when you put it like that,
like, I couldn't smash because it's just.
Yeah, I just want to hang out with him and do unhinged things.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart, though.
Oh, Kristen Stewart, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized I hadn't answered.
Yeah, you're quiet.
And did you have any thoughts on Jason Isaacs?
Do I know who that is?
Did you watch the OA?
Yeah.
Hap.
Oh! He's,
in the new Star Trek.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
Lucius Malfoy.
That too.
Yeah, but don't bring that up first.
Right, no,
I mean, the character I brought up first is worse.
But...
Yeah, but I feel like the blonde doesn't do him justice.
It's not doing him. It's not great.
He's almost as old as my dad.
And I said yes to Mads Mikkelsen.
Experienced.
Wow. He's older than my dad. It doesn't matter.
I was busy trying to look up the name of somebody.
Dad, if you're ever listening, I'm so sorry.
I know my parents don't listen to this podcast. Which is great.
There, I'm trying it that way. I just put a picture in the podcast planning chat, because this is probably not really bad. But I binge watched All of Us Are Dead on Netflix over the weekend. And I have the major hots for the detective in that show.
Yeah. Do we know this guy's name?
I was looking up his name because I didn't know what it was. It's Kyu Hyung Lee.
Yeah.
He doesn't even, his IMDb page doesn't even have a picture of him, so I don't think he's really been in much, but...
He's a cutie. I'm gonna say yes.
Have we discussed Bo Burnham yet? He's on the
No,
list.
oh my god. Yes. Absolutely yes.
In a heartbeat? Even back when he was putting out the stupidest bullshit that I, for some reason, as a 13-year-old was laughing at, yes.
Absolutely.
Now even more so.
At literally any stage of Inside, even though I am not crazy about the beard in the last couple minutes.
I would say Inside version only. Like, not when he's younger, absolutely not. Only this unhinged,
I mean,
absolutely batshit man.
I do love people that are just simply insane.
I was going to censor myself, but then I remembered that one of the reasons that
we don't censor ourselves here
pushed me towards here was that he feels the need to censor himself and I wouldn't. So I'm just gonna, I like hairy men, all everywhere, please. So Bo Burnham, hair, yes.
I do like
it's like just adding points on,
right at the very end of Inside, I would hesitate for just a second, but at a lot of points in the special where he's kind of scruffy and has slightly longer hair, oh my god, sign me up. Sign me up. I love him so much. And also he's 6'5". Hello?
I noticed that when he went through a door. I'm
yeah, he went through a door and then here's the door frame and here's his face. I'm like, sir, what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a big dude. We do stand.
Actually, it probably wouldn't work very well then. I'm short as fuck.
We do what we can.
It would work.
There was a question we discussed on the podcast once about whether height matters in relationships.
You can make it work, I think. I don't know. I say this as a person of average height, so what do I know?
It's never...
This could be fun.
It's never come up before. I've never dated anybody over 6 feet.
How tall are you?
5'2" if I round up. It's 5'1.5".
Bless you.
I think that it would work. I think it would work great.
Couldn't 69, definitely.
No, will you, just
wouldn't line up.
You would have to be, in the middle of the bed, and then he would have to, look up, so, press his head against the wall a bit. But it would be fine.
It'd be fine.
Oh, no. Just deal with it. You'll be fine.
I'm trying to make sure we're, somewhat going in a circle, but I think I've already lost control of this, so if anyone has thoughts, just feel free to shout them out. because I am way too comfortable being horny on main, and I will just keep saying names unless someone stops me.
Rename the podcast.
Yeah, that's the name of the podcast now, Horny on Main.
Horny on Main, absolutely.
Fighting with Friends After Dark, aka Horny on Main.
Yes! That's the stream where we all take, like, 5 shots.
Yeah. This is a tangent, but when we were first in quarantine for Bridget's birthday, she hosted a Discord party, and the theme was anything but a cup.
Oh, yeah.
And I brought a shot glass that was just an empty bottle of my depression meds, and I was like, here we are. And I think that's just so on brand.
That was painfully on brand.
Because I've seen the ABC parties, anything but clothes parties, but anything but a cup is really cute. That's unique.
My sister was on that same Discord call, and she was drinking beer out of like a gravy boat with a ladle.
Yeah, I was blessed.
It was great. Amazing. 10 out of 10.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm trying to think.
Brooks, I'm going to make you put out another name.
I was gonna say, because I said at the beginning here, I had that thought twice this week. Because once for the detective that I sent the picture of, and I already have another picture ready to go for those that don't know him. Yes. Sending the lead singer of Mother Mother.
I love them so much.
This picture specifically, like, looks like I'm about to hear how and when exactly I'm going to die. And I'm here for it.
He's kind of unconventional looking. Yeah. I'm still gonna say yes just because the music slaps.
And it's so weird because he's like not my type at all.
Oh no.
He does have a very unique look to him, and I think if I just saw him without knowing the music, I might think differently. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say yes. I'm definitely gonna give that a yes.
His hair is a little goofy.
He has a sick ass mullet in
the
It's Alright music video. I love it.
Yeah, I guess it changes a lot, probably.
It's got a mohawk in the one I sent.
A little goofy. But I think, I think it'll be fine. You can do it. Yeah, I'll vote Smash.
I would Smash.
You can wear a hat.
I want him to tell me how I'm going to die during it, specifically.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't say, like, tonight.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. He's secretly Ted Bundy. It's whatever.
Get it over with. I'm trying to think of someone who would be, like, controversial.
That was my attempt, because I feel like, he said unconventional looking.
No, I mean, he definitely does have, like, a very distinctive look to him.
Mm-hmm. Structure.
What about Jerry Traynor? Who is Spencer and iCarly.
Crazy Steve.
And Crazy Steve and Drake and Josh.
Have you seen that video of him where the girl's like, have you ever had a thick Latina? And he said yes.
No! What?
It's on TikTok. I'll link it. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna go with no. He looks like the type of guy who would, like, show up to your dad's block party and, like, make jokes that make you slightly uncomfortable, but nobody else seems to notice. And he probably plays a little guitar, but, not too much.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yeah. And he's the one who'll go off about, like, his craft cider. He doesn't drink beer, but this cider is really good, and he'll tell you, like, way too much about cider.
I don't think I can say yes.
I'm a yes, simply because I just kind of want to know what it would be like.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
Like, not to be too horny on Maine, but, like, there's gotta be something going on, and I want to be a part of it.
Sometimes you're just curious, That's life. Yeah, I don't think I could stop thinking about, like, the shows from my childhood.
I was past childhood when those shows came on, so I never watched them. So I am basing this entirely on just this Google image search, and no.
Fair enough.
I see you've got on your list here, Gillian Anderson, and I feel like that's not an entirely controversial one, but I feel like David Duchovny?
David Duchovny.
Is a controversial one, because my sister has the mega hots for him, and I never understood it.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, season 1, Fox Mulder, we've definitely talked about. Oh my god.
I don't get it, though.
I actually just started rewatching The X-Files, because I haven't watched it
since Are you enjoying season 1, Fox Mulder?
Because, like, I watched that show as it aired. And so season 1 was on in 1993. So it's been almost 20 years since I've seen them.
He's like, so beautiful in those episodes. Like, with the glasses and the floppy 90s hair.
Oh, yeah, I had such a crush on him when I was a kid. Oh my
god.
Cannot.
Google Fox Mulder season 1. I need you to know what we're talking about.
I forgot we had this list going because I put some of these names on here.
You did.
I still cannot.
Okay, rude.
He just... Something about the nose is just getting me, and I know that's shallow, but, like, it's just, like, I wouldn't be able to stop staring.
This whole thing is incredibly shallow.
Like, we would be in the middle of set activities, and I would just be like, what is that? What's happening here? So I can't do it because I would be too distracted.
Okay.
For some reason, I feel like it thematically follows to bring up Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh,
especially,
yeah,
like, Dr. Ian Malcolm? Hello?
So, like, here's the thing. Also has a huge nose, but it just works so much better on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know what you're saying.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
I'm really trying to think of something for me personally that is going to be, like, the last time we played this game where I thought I had something that would be like swinging a baseball bat at a hornet's nest.
What you said when you threw out,
Stephen Merchant.
Oh, right.
I am trying to think of something else that will inspire such reactions. But I can't, I'm coming up sadly blank here.
I'm trying to think of, like, strange people that I'm like, yeah, that works.
I know, and, like, I have so many. Like, in my own personal time, like, I'm always like, haha, like, I'm always, like, jokingly, like, referring to myself as, like, a monster fucker and all that stuff. But, like, nothing's coming to mind.
Okay, but which monster?
I think vampires are pretty hot. And I know that's, like, low-tier monster fuckery, but still.
But you gotta be specific about what brand of vampires, because
But What We Do in the Shadows vampires specifically.
Yeah. It's just Taika Waititi.
Yeah, it's just
to
Taika
be
Waititi.
Nacho when I grow up.
I'm literally, like, part of my plans this weekend is to binge watch the first season of that show. I'm so excited. I said this in the, like, last 2 episodes, I think. I have not started that show yet, but I am in love with Naja already.
Oh my gosh, can I watch it with you? Because I can't watch it for the first time again. I need to experience it vicariously through you, you know? I love it so much.
Please update me as you go.
Oh,
like,
I will. Don't you worry. I will.
Yeah, just live tweet your every reaction.
I will send stuff in the podcast group. It'll be great.
I love it so much.
So good. Have you seen the movie it was based on too? It was
of
really
course.
funny.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. Seen it a bunch of times. We watched it together once when you were here, Bridget.
We did. It was lovely. Yeah, no, and I mean, like, Taika Waititi, like, he's pretty handsome. He's cute, but, like, him as...
He's on the list.
He is on the list. But, like, him as Viago specifically, so much hotter.
He's adorable.
Like, I'm so much more attracted to him as a vampire than I am just, like, as himself.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If I looked at him and I didn't know who he was, I would probably say smash. But knowing who he is, I just want to cuddle. Is that a third option?
Yeah, we can put that in there.
He's too much of a teddy bear I can't ruin him, you know?
I have one.
Hit me with it. Yes.
Gilbert Gottfried.
No! He would try to talk to you.
Why not?
The Aflac duck. Are you kidding me?
Have you not heard him read 50 Shades of Grey?
Shades of Grey.
It's magical.
I have heard that, and it is absolutely hysterical, but absolutely not. Are you insane?
Yeah, like the Affleck duck being like, you like that? You like that?
Like, again, something I feel like I have to do for the experience, just to know what it's like.
Oh
I
my
just, like,
gosh.
I need to physically know. I'm gonna start, like, reaching out to anybody he may have ever, and been like, hey, how was this? What happened? How much did he...
I mean, if you find out...
I'll let you know.
Please let us know.
I have an illusion.
There's a book called 50 Shades of Michael Cera. And it's basically 50 Shades of Grey, but if it was Michael Cera instead of Christian Grey. But it's like, if it was still Michael Cera, so he's like, hang on, I'm just gonna tie your wrist to the bedpost here, is that okay? Oops, hang on, can you hold a little still? Thank you. Okay, oh god, you know?
Like... That's incredible. And now I'm just thinking of back when I used to be on Tumblr, somebody posted, it was like, imagine if Michael Cera was Christian Grey. Somebody took a screen cap from, I think it's like Arrested Development or whatever, and it just says, what a fun, sexy time for you.
I'm just letting you know that Gilbert Gottfried does in fact have a wife and 2 kids, so this man fucks.
Yeah, but he doesn't dirty talk, I feel like, probably, hopefully.
Oh my god, just like... I just want to imagine, like, that, like, where he, like, leans over and whispers in your ear, and you're just like, ah!
That's disgusting.
I wonder which would be worse, Gilbert Gottfried or Bobcat Goldthwait?
I don't know who that second person is.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know the name.
Bobcat Goldthwait... I suppose he hasn't really been relevant in a lot of years.
Okay, Google.
He has a very distinctive voice.
He was born in Syracuse.
Do you know who I'm talking about, Emily?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a comedian, actor.
Yeah.
Very, very distinctive voice.
Yes, yes.
Have you ever seen the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray?
Nope.
Okay, that was the only shot I thought.
I was about to say, I don't remember where I know him from, but that's where I know him from.
Yeah, he used to be really big once upon a time.
I don't think I can weigh in here.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to his voice, and then you'll understand why I mentioned it.
You'll know.
Because they both have, I don't know which would be worse, to be honest, him or Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh no, this is like his roast. This isn't him. TV debut, age 20. Here we go.
Oh.
Gilbert Gottfried would be worse / better, in my opinion. Like, worse but funnier.
Yeah, he'd probably be more annoying.
You know what? I wish him and his wife, Gilbert Gottfried and his wife, the best. I hope that they are enjoying magical nights of love even as they grow old.
Fair enough.
You know, talking about Taika Waititi and What We Do in the Shadows, I was like, yeah, he's adorable. And that, let me just look at some pictures, you know, like stills from the movie. And now it's making me think about Jermaine Clement and...
Jermaine Clement and What We Do in the Shadows specifically is really funny to me because I think it's hilarious that they're having him play a guy who is supposed to be, like, unattractive, but who thinks he's super hot, as if Jermaine Clement isn't, like, a pretty handsome dude to begin with. I mean, like, the stash isn't necessarily... The stash isn't necessarily doing him any favors.
I do not agree.
I don't think he's all that bad.
He's not, like, terrible looking, but I don't think he's particularly attractive.
Oh, I don't think he's that bad.
I think he's
kind of handsome.
Yeah, I mean, I would classify him as kind of handsome.
I mean, I knew him from Flight of the Conchords before this. So maybe my frame of reference is a little bit different because, in Flight of the Conchords, he's just himself, regular short hair, all that stuff. And then he's up against Bret McKenzie as his musical partner, and Bret McKenzie is adorable.
Hold on, I gotta Google him.
He's an adorable little guy. I don't know if you guys have seen the show, but the two of them together are a band known as Flight of the Conchords, and they've moved to New York City to become famous. And they have one super fan who's played by Kristen Shaw.
Oh yeah, Bret McKenzie's cute.
Mm-hmm. I have all seasons on DVD.
I have one more to bring up when we're ready for it.
I am always ready.
Bill Hader.
Yes. Smash. Because he's kind of funny. I'll let him smash.
Yeah.
He's just got this awkward little charm, and it just works.
Yeah.
He falls closer into the teddy bear camp, though, for me as well. But I think not quite as directly in as Taika Waititi.
Hold on a minute.
But he's definitely got teddy bear vibes.
I got to do some Googling because this may have just become an immediate no, even though I was the one to bring it up and I was originally on the yes.
Ooh, someone to bring up, speaking of teddy bear vibes, Matt Mercer.
Google.
Let me look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill Hader is dating Anna Kendrick, and I was about to be like, that's creepy, that's too much, that's doing the most. But they're only 7 years apart, so
okay,
it's not that bad. Yeah, she's 36 all of a sudden. I don't know how.
No, she's supposed to stay like Scott Pilgrim age forever.
Going on looks alone for this guy, he's kind of cute. I enjoy guys with long hair.
I already said I like hair, so. Yeah, he's like uber nerd who runs the Critical Role, the D&D Twitch stream.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't run.
I was gonna say, solely off the pictures of him, he looks like he would be that DM that you're like, oh, okay, and then there's this treasure chest and I touch it and he's like, you touched it? And I'm like, maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
How specifically did you touch it?
Yeah, that's the vibe I get from him.
With your hand.
I want to play
I'm into it.
D&D so bad, but I don't have friends.
Hello, I am friend. I do D&D things.
Maybe there's hope for me.
I did one D&D campaign in high school. In my AP physics class, once we were done with the AP, it was in May and school went until June, and so my teacher was like, yeah, don't do whatever you want during class. So we played D&D, and I very much enjoyed it.
My high school had I don't think it was officially called Nerd Club, but everybody, the members included, called it Nerd Club.
Of course.
Friday after school, ran by the physics teacher, and we would do D&D, Settlers of Catan, whatever, Magic the Gathering. Aww. And that was where I lived.
That's so fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that's where I first played D&D, and then again, I hadn't played it again until the pandemic hit, and I was like, what can we do long distance?
Mm-hmm.
And it gives us, because it's hard when you're trying to get people together, and it's like, hey, when are you free? This time, I don't know, and you're just stuck in the scheduling loop. But with D&D, it kind of gives you something like, every Sunday at 6 o'clock, we're gonna meet for this thing, and then you plan around that rather than trying to fit socialization into your schedule. So
yeah, I really need to do more things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know what this is.
That is kind of what this is, which I do love that I actually talk to people on a regular basis. It's great. It's been great for me mentally. Let's see. I'm gonna pick one last person, which I think there's an obvious answer here, or I think I can predict everyone's answer, but in his prime, Mark Hamill. Woo! Absolutely yes. OG Golden Retriever boy. Such a cutie.
Never.
You mean in his prime, currently, right? Because
he has aged quite well.
Yeah.
I will 100% give him that. He's still a very handsome man. But, like, in his prime, oh my god, Luke Skywalker, Golden Retriever boy, love him so much. Such a cutie.
He always gave me, like, kid with the wheelie backpack vibes, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to argue that Mark Hamill now more attractive than Luke Skywalker.
There's just something about, like, he just looks like he's having so much fun. I love him.
Yes. That is true.
He's such a cutie.
And that's what I love reading about the behind the scenes of these, is that, like...
Oh, Mans was vibing.
He was a total dork, and he was so there for it, and pretty much everybody else on set was, except for Harrison Ford, who was like, can I get my paycheck? These nerds.
And then also,
I love that for him.
In Carrie Fisher's memoir, she, like, talks about how, like, one time, like, she, like, stayed over with Harrison, like, they, you know, having their, like, whole, like, affair or whatever, but, like, Mark Hamill just, like, showed up for breakfast at one of their houses, and, like, didn't realize that anything was going on. So I just think it's so funny that they were all good enough friends where he just, like, popped up at their house one morning, but was also just, like, oblivious enough not to realize that they had just, like, spent the night together.
Right. Like, he was like, oh, he came for breakfast too. Cute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, King.
Peak Golden Retriever energy.
Peak Golden Retriever energy. Brooks, you were making kind of a face.
I had thought what would be kind of fun to do in the future would be themed Smasher Pass segments.
I had a thought for a theme a while back, which was, like, throwback Smasher Pass.
Well, I mean, like, because for some reason, you know, talking about Star Wars, I started thinking about Star Trek characters.
One of my theme people was, one of my throwback people was in Star Trek.
But I mean, something like that, because there's so many different series, so there's a ton of actors, like, that's a well you could pull from. You know, like that kind of thing.
I'm here for it.
Because I think that would make it easier to, like, think of people, you know, if you have, like,
on the IMDb list.
Oh yeah, no, that too. I can, that'll be a fun thing to do. Start breaking it down into different themes.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, ideas. We'd love to see it. Well, now that we've been horny on Maine for a good 30 minutes, you know,
if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
On a quickly related note, you could do a Smash or Pass version, sort of, where you put two people against each other and you have to choose one.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Because I'm part of a Star Trek meme group that was doing that recently with T'Pol from Enterprise and 7 of 9 from Voyager.
7 of 9.
And that is hard to do.
I was gonna say, were things getting heated?
Yeah, they are both ridiculously beautiful.
Cool.
Oh, horny on Maine bracket?
Ooh. But also episode title. Horny on Maine.
Horny on Maine.
So everyone knows what they're getting into. But first, they'll get a healthy dose of true crime discussion.
Yep. You know what? Best way to do
an interesting blend.
This, you know, sometimes that's just how it be.
You know what it is? It's the Vulcan haircut. Otherwise, it would definitely be T'Pol.
Yeah, well, she has, in later seasons, her hair gets better.
Oh, does it? I haven't seen much of Enterprise.
Yeah, it gets a little bit longer, and so it's not as weird.
You know what? This episode is for all my people out there who Netflix and chill with a true crime documentary in the background.
Bestie. No.
I think it's a very specific category.
I mean, I know that they definitely exist, but not me. Not me. Alright, well.
With Star Trek on in the background, I won't say that's never happened.
I don't think I've ever Netflix and chilled.
You gotta have something on. It can't be silent.
My issue with Netflix and chilling is either that, like, the show on in the background is, like, annoying and I want to turn it off, or it's good and I'm just like, hold on a second, what's going on?
No, oh
Wait,
my
what
gosh.
happened? I missed that.
There's some meme that I have to try and find, and it's that screen cap from Spongebob where it's the episode where he takes Plankton to the movie theater. And you know how in cartoons they, like, animate it sometimes when someone doesn't actually have pockets, it just kind of looks like they're, like, reaching, like, into themselves?
Yeah.
It's that, like, Plankton and it's SpongeBob's hand just, like, disappearing. And it's like when he's trying to Netflix and chill, but the movie's actually getting really interesting.
That's why you put on
I will try and find it.
Like Star Trek that I one has seen a bazillion times, so it's not distractingly bad, but you can still tune it out. I've got this down to a science, you guys.
That's so smart.
Good tip. Good tip, I'm gonna say. Good
but
Netflix
that's
and
how
chill
you
tip.
know. So if you're ever going over to a member of the preferred sex house and, they go to sit down and they're like, yeah, I'll put on Netflix. And you're like, oh, what show is this? And they're like, oh, yeah, I've seen it a billion times. You're like, oh, I know it's about to go down.
Puppy!
He popped in to say hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye! Oh my goodness, so cute. Boom, 2 animal appearances in 1 episode. We love to see it.
Gosh, that's amazing.
We do stand. Okay, so back again with a fresh episode next week. Anyone have anything they would like to promote? Shout out your stuff. We love to share.
Well, as long as there's a link, I'm good with that. I stream on Twitch. Right now I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7.
Absolutely wonderful.
We're just playing through whatever games we feel like, so that'd be really cool.
Hell yeah.
Hang out.
Sweet.
I exist, and that deserves a round of applause sometimes.
Absolutely it does. We do stand.
Woo!
All right. Thank you, friends, for fighting with us. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we'll be back again next week. Bye.
Bye.
This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly, Emily Whitney, and Dr. Cera Brooks, featuring special guest Kat DuBrey. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98, at EWIT789, and at AndSarahSaid, and don't forget to check out Kat's Twitch channel using the link in the description. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon. Thanks for listening!